A lot of people out there ask, well, Ron, why do you keep on running? Why have you been on council so long? This is my hometown. I live 2 streets up from where I originally used to throw baseball with my brother out in the street. And it means something to me. I want to make sure the city is it's working the best it possibly can, and for the future of my kids. If my kids decide to stay here, I want to make sure they've got opportunity. And I just want to be that person that sits on council that has some historical knowledge of what's going on here in the town. I mean, I still remember going downtown, and that was the main place to go shopping, Woolworths and the quarries. And now we've got malls and all those things. And I want to make sure that Morgantown is balanced and we move forward with all the things that we can do. On the question of the budget for the Morgantown City Council, for years I've sat on the council and been concerned about how conservative we should be on using the public money. For years I've been concerned about how much we use for other things other than the infrastructure. I think that the infrastructure should always be the first thing that we go through, and also the services that we provide. You know, police, fire, the engineering that we do in the city, those must be the first things. Those other things that add on to the budget, for instance, projects with other entities, special projects with special groups, those always have to come up as a secondary priority. And that's one of the things I'd like to work on in this next session of council, is to make sure that we prioritize the budget in a way that we don't have so much controversy as the budget season comes along. On the issue of vote by mail, there are 3 things that we have to be really concerned about. The first one is that when you send out that many ballots, that's 16,000 ballots in the city of Morgantown, you're going to have the situation where first you're going to have people that get ballots that aren't supposed to get ballots. That's a huge problem. And then the second thing that's going to be really a big problem is there's going to be people that should get a ballot that won't get a ballot. So now we have this problem of back and forth of finding out who should have, who shouldn't have, because the books from the county may not be accurate enough to send the appropriate ballots. And the third thing is that this is really the one that really bothers me the most, is that as people get older, their signature changes. I know myself, when I was 18 years old, I signed my voter's card, and my signature has changed tremendously. So when I usually go to the polls and vote, they see me as a person, and I can look at my old signature and say, okay, I'll try to be as close as I can to that, because I do sign differently. And then with that signature, you also have this other problem where people, as they get older, are on medication, and a lot of times your hand shakes a little different, or you don't have the same dexterity. So if your ballot comes in and the signatures don't match, they won't count it. So it just concerns me that we have these 3 problems. So again, you have the person that won't get it, and the person that gets it when they shouldn't get it. And then now you have this other one where the only way your vote's going to count is somebody sitting in a room and they look at your signature and say, is that close enough or not? Now, with that signature, you can go the other way, but you take them all in. And I'll add a 4th one, and this is very interesting too. You have 2 people in a household. What they're supposed to do is, say we have a husband and wife, they're supposed to send their ballots in separately. I know, and you know as well as anybody else, you don't want to put 2 stamps on something. So they put 2 ballots into 1 envelope. Do you count them both, or do you not count them both? And if they vote for other people, different people on the different wards, do you count? How do you do that? So the judgment's not there. I think there's more questions with the vote by mail than there is answers. I don't know what council is thinking of. What's a success? Is it 10% more? Is it 5% more? Is it 20% more? What's the success? No one talked about that council. No one gave that as a goal. All they're saying is it more? So we had 1,500 people vote last time. Is it 1,501, 1,502 is a success? So those questions should have been answered even before we sent them out. On the question of the relationship between the university and the city of Morgantown, usually referred to as town gown, I'm not against or opposed to the relationship between the city and the university to become a better fit. But what I don't want to happen, and I am an alumnus of WVU, what I don't want to happen is this character of Morgantown to be lost within that. There are a lot of people pushing for this town-gown relationship to expand into bigger and more cooperative ways of dealing with problems. But I think sometimes, when the university wants something, there's still those moments of not talking to us, even if we try to make those relationships. So I'm really concerned about us. We have to stand our ground on certain things. Recently, there was a light that they wanted to put on 705. I voted against it. Council did vote for it. And this is the light that's going to be out of Lot 81 that's right across from Applebee's. And it's a problem for me because that's the 10th light that's going to be put on 705. This is just one example of how the university says, hey, we want this. They go to the state, say we're going to pay for it, and they're going to put something in. And there was very little bit of, there's hardly any kind of conversation that I know of between the city and the university. So we have these things go on, and it does disturb me because if you really want these things to happen in the right way, we've got to look at Morgantown first. I mean, and then the university is actually, they live here too, but they're just another person living here. And so we need to make sure that we don't lose Morgantown. In closing, just a couple things to remember. The ballots will go out April 9th through April 12th. You'll see them in the mail, so look for those during those dates. The other thing is I would appreciate you continue to support me because I don't have any other dog in the fight other than I just want to be a part of this community and make it the best it possibly can be. So don't forget to look in the mail April 9th through the 12th and make sure you cast your vote. Be great. Thanks.